So you've heard all about Lego investing and how you can make money investing in Lego sets, but you're not sure how many sets you should buy. How many of different kinds of sets should you buy? How much quantity of each one should you invest in? Let's figure it out, and welcome back to BrickBucks. If you're new here, this is where we talk about Lego investing. We buy Lego sets, we hold them for a while after they're no longer manufactured as the value increases, and then we sell them again. And one of the most common questions that I get from the community is around this idea of diversification. How many different sets should I be buying at different stages of my journey? Should I be loading up on 100 different SKUs, different kinds of sets? How many different themes should I be buying? What should I do when it comes to actually going deep versus going wide? And that is the big question that we're going to answer here in this video. So let me just say right off the top that this answer will be different depending on where you are in your Lego investing journey. At least that is my perspective, because if you are brand new to Lego investing, my answer to you on this question would be different than if you had a couple of years of experience. Let me explain what I mean by that. So if you are new to Lego investing, it is your first year and you are thinking, how many different sets should you buy? Should you buy 20 different SKUs, 30, 50? How much should you diversify? You've probably heard a lot of people talking about the importance of diversification in investing in general, whether it's the stock market, real estate. A lot of people talk about you should be diversifying your investments so that you spread your risk across more different investments. And then even if one goes down a bit, the average will still do well. I absolutely agree with that mentality when it comes to new investors. Okay, I think anybody who is new to stock market investing, real estate investing, or Lego investing should be diversifying their buying. It helps to spread the risk. It helps to make up for lack of research, because if you're a little bit less sure about what sets you're buying, then buying a couple of different kinds that are retiring is probably going to help with kind of letting the average pull you up a little bit. Because if one of those sets doesn't retire when you thought that it would, then at least you're going to have other sets that do retire, and you'll still have some stuff to sell and some money to be made. And the reason that is so important when you're new to Lego investing is because I think it's really important to get to your first sale. Getting to your first sale as a new Lego investor, it is a big kind of a moment for you, because it is the moment where you realize that this stuff really does work. Until that point, a lot of what you're doing, you're basing on the numbers that you're seeing on places like eBay or Amazon. You're basing them on YouTube videos like this one, or maybe you're basing some of it on the communities that you've joined, but you don't have your own direct experience with actually selling Lego sets. And so maybe there's part of you that's not certain that it's going to work until you actually start to make sales. So I think it's really important for new Lego investors to get to those first sales pretty quickly, because that's where your confidence is going to grow. That's where you're going to immediately see that this stuff actually really does work. Yes, you can make 80% to 100% returns within either a couple of months or definitely within a year. Depending on your strategies, you could even do a lot better than that. And yes, these things are possible. Getting that confidence is super important. After you get past that point, you'll be able to make much clearer decisions in your business, because that's the point where you start to learn from your sales. You start to learn what did well, which themes performed best for you, and different things like that. So that is the first thing. When you are a new investor, getting some sales is very, very important at that point, because it gives you that confidence. It also gives you that cash flow back so you can reinvest it. And when you're reinvesting that money, you're going to be making better purchases, because now you have a little bit of experience. And as you get that experience, your purchases become better and better. So very important to have some sales in your first year of Lego investing. Now, if you only bought one or two sets, and if they don't end up retiring when you thought that they would, or if maybe they got pushed back or they get re-released, or any of that sort of stuff happens, which can happen, and you went all in on just one or two of those sets, then you're going to be delaying those sales that you could have had, because now you're going to have to sit on that inventory for longer. Whereas if you went a little bit wider and you bought a couple more different sets, then chances are you're going to have some stuff that is growing in value, even if one or two of them did get pushed out, retirement dates change, anything like that. You will have covered your bases by investing in a couple of other sets. So going a little bit wider as opposed to going deeper in this case is useful for making sure that you do have stuff that is hitting target prices and ready to sell, ready to increase your confidence as a Lego investor, give you some of that cash flow back so you can reinvest it in better decisions the second time around, and of course give you the experience to sell, right? Give you experience selling on eBay, selling on Bricklink, on Amazon, wherever you choose to build your business, giving you that experience so you know the full end-to-end journey of a Lego investor, right? From sourcing inventory through to actually selling it. Now, another really important point here is if you go a little bit wider and you diversify a bit, then you're going to learn more, right? It's as simple as that, because now you're researching more different sets, you're researching more different themes, and most importantly, you're going to be seeing the performance over time of the stuff you actually bought. And you're going to pay more attention to the performance of inventory that you actually bought than you're ever going to pay to stuff that you didn't buy. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you buy 10 sets, over the next year after you buy those sets, you are going to be watching those prices. You're going to be seeing what happens. You're going to be watching the supply, the demand, the different things like that about those sets. Now, the fact that you're watching those 10 sets gives you a ton of experience, because now you start to see, okay, maybe architecture skylines don't perform as well as I thought that they would, or at least this wave is not performing as well as I thought. Maybe Speed Champions had a bad year this year because the six studs, they got extended an extra 6 months due to COVID, and maybe that's impacting what's happening with the price. You're going to start to pay attention to these different things because you bought those sets. Okay, now if you diversified your buying and you bought more different SKUs, then you're going to be paying attention to more stuff. Okay, and as a result of that, you're going to grow your knowledge a lot, because when you're invested, you pay attention. When you pay attention, you learn. So that's another massive benefit to diversification. As a new Lego investor, it helps you to learn. So, quick recap for new Lego investors: diversification can be super beneficial because it helps to spread the risk. So if a set gets pushed out, or if it doesn't perform as well as you thought that it would, then you're going to have other sets in your inventory that do perform really well. And so on average, you should do pretty well. Secondly, it helps you to get cash flow back so you can reinvest it in better decisions, because now you're going to be a better Lego investor. Thirdly, it helps to build that confidence. It's super important early in your Lego investing career. Very, very important to build that confidence. And fourth, of course, it helps with your learning. If you are watching more sets because you're invested in them, you are going to learn a lot more than you would have if you didn't buy those sets and you were only watching 2 or 3 different sets. Okay, so tons of different reasons why diversification is important as a new Lego investor. Most important out of that list is probably the fact that you're spreading your risk, because in the beginning, you just don't know enough to pick winning Lego sets, okay? So buying a little bit more can be a way that you will make sure you'll probably get that winning set. It's just one of a lot of different sets that you bought, but maybe it's in your list of sets, and so you'll have that experience. Now, if you are further along in your Lego investing journey, maybe you're a couple of years in, you know what you're doing at this point, you're pretty good and comfortable at making buying decisions, doing your research and due diligence and picking winning Lego sets, and you feel really good about where your business is going. In my opinion, at this point, you could start to narrow in a lot more. You could maybe buy less different SKUs and go a little bit deeper, because you're much more comfortable and confident in your decision making. You know the ropes, you know what you're doing. Maybe you've been here for a couple of holiday seasons, a couple of different years of cycles and seasonality and different things that happens. You've done a ton of research since you've started as a Lego investor. You know the different themes, you know what to expect in different sub-themes and different lines and different things like that. At this point, your ability to pick winning Lego sets, ones that are increasing massively in value, has probably multiplied a lot, and you feel really comfortable in that. So why not go a little bit deeper if that is the case? If you are finding that the stuff that you're picking is hitting your return on investment expectations, you're doing well, you seem to be picking good sets, well, what usually happens is you pick a great set, and then after you sell the last one of those, you wish that you had more, right? If you got 20 of them, you wish that you got 40 of them, because if it was a great winning set, then chances are it's going to sell out fast whenever that time comes for you to actually go ahead and list that stuff for sale. And after that happens, it would have been pretty easy for you to just add another 20 quantity to that listing, because here's what it really comes down to, is that it's much easier to sell 40 of one thing than it is to sell one of 40 different things. Okay, it's much easier, because when you're listing on Amazon, you'll only have to do that one time, or on eBay, you'll only have to take the photos one time, create one listing, and just set that quantity to 40, which is a lot easier than creating listings for 40 different items, making photographs for 40 different items, writing the titles and descriptions for 40 different items. So what it really boils down to here is that it's a lot more scalable. Okay, it's a lot more scalable. It's a lot easier to grow your business when you are focused in a little bit more. And when you're at this point in your business, scalability is one of the most important things. At this point, you are trying to figure out how to take it to the next level. You are trying to figure out how to do things faster. How do you create efficient processes in your business so that things don't take as much time? And this is one of those examples, right? Now you can order 40 of the same box, for example, if you're shipping the items yourself. You can just order 40 quantity of the same box. If you have 40 different items, now you're going to need all sorts of different sizes of boxes and different things like that to ship it out. So at this point, it becomes important to look for those time savings and those efficiencies. And going a little bit deeper at this point makes sense when it comes to speeding things up and looking for that scalability. Now, it also gives you another benefit at this stage of your journey, which is it helps with your discipline, because even seasoned Lego investors, they're always going to struggle with being disciplined with our buying. It is one of the biggest problems that Lego investors have to face is discipline, is not getting too caught up with things like the prices going up on August 1st, right? And making you deviate from your usual strategy because you get overexcited about something like that happening. Or things like a new set coming out that everybody's talking about and everybody's saying it's going to sell out. Well, if you usually buy sets that are retiring and that is your strategy, then why would you go and buy a new set even if everybody thinks it's going to sell out, right? You are deviating from your game plan. So discipline is super important. I made an entire video about it here on this channel because it is so important for Lego investing. And going a little bit deeper into your sets that you're buying, so in other words, not diversifying too wide, but actually going a little bit deeper instead of wide, that actually helps with discipline. Because now you have a list of winning sets that you want to buy this year, and you just are laser focused on those sets, and you want to get your quantity and you want to just do it on these sets. It really helps to have that discipline, because if you are going wider and you're buying more different SKUs, you're diversifying more, then chances are you're going to lose a little bit of discipline, because you know that you're okay with getting another SKU. I'm okay with adding another 2 SKUs to my list here because I already have 40 different SKUs. So why not buy this deal because it's 30% off, even if I didn't research that set, okay? So going too diverse can lead to a lack of discipline, and going a little bit deeper instead of too wide can actually increase your discipline. And having that little bit of help increasing your discipline is probably going to serve you well in general. And now the third major reason that I think more seasoned Lego investors should be going deeper instead of too wide is, of course, that you should trust your decision making at this point, right? You've learned how to pick winning Lego sets by now. You know what you're doing. So you should really trust your ability to pick winning Lego sets at this point. And you should double down on the ones that you're confident about because it's been proven to work. If you have 10 different sets that you feel are definitely going to be winning Lego sets, and you buy all 10 of them, and let's say you have 40 quantity or 50 quantity of all 10 of these sets. Well, if someone really wanted to diversify, they might tell you you should buy another one. You should get an 11th set or a 12th set or a 13th set. But my question to you would be, because you know what you're doing by now, you've got a pretty good handle on your decision making. Why would you buy set number 11 instead of putting more money into set number 1? Because set number 1 was first on your list. It was the set that you are most sure about. It's the one that you are certain is going to do really well. Set number 11 didn't even make your top 10. Now you're considering buying set number 11, but you could just take that same money, that same cash flow that you need for your inventory, and you could put it into set number 1 and buy more quantity of set number 1. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should only have 10 SKUs when you go to a certain level. It's going to be different for every person, and I know mega sellers that have somewhere around 20 on their target list. But when I first started out, I was looking at any deal that I could find, and I wasn't worrying about different SKUs or quantity of SKUs, and I was just buying deals. And I definitely think that for all of you new Lego investors out there, that is the better approach, at least in the beginning. Now, I do just want to share a word of caution. That is, you still need to get good deals, right? And it's almost more important than ever if you're going wide and diversifying a lot because of that lack of discipline that I mentioned. It's more important than ever to get great deals and buy sets at a good price. So you might be tempted to just jump in on any set and if someone's talking about it in the communities, just buy it because you're diversifying and different things like that. It's still important to get it at a good price. It builds in a margin of safety into your purchase. It helps you to make sure that you will not lose money, right? It's very unlikely at that point that you're going to lose money if you got it for a great price, because you'll at least be able to sell it for what you paid for it. More likely, you're going to be able to make a great return on investment on it. So that is the first real quick call out that I wanted to make, is that you still want to get a good price on those sets. And secondly, you still need to research them. Okay, that's the most important thing here. Is if you have diversification in your mind and you kind of want to get multiple different SKUs to spread out your risk and get those benefits with learning and different things that I talked about, you still got to research the sets before you buy them. Okay, it's very important to still do your due diligence. Look at the supply, the demand, the price while it's out of stock, the other sets in the theme and what they've done over time. All of these different things, you can't skip these steps. Okay, even if you are diversifying and buying a handful of different SKUs and different things like that in your business. Now, one of the remaining questions I think some of you may have is, what quantity should I actually be buying, right? If I decide that I want to be diverse and buy a lot of different SKUs, or if I decide that I want to be more narrow and buy less different kinds of Lego sets, I still don't know how many I should be buying of each one. The way that I would approach this is to think about it as cash, okay? Don't think about it as number of Lego sets. Think about it as cash, because each Lego set has a different MSRP, a different price on it. And so 100 of a Speed Champion set is not equal to 100 of a modular building, okay? So thinking about it as quantities of units, it is less kind of valuable than thinking about it in actual cash value. So the way I would approach it overall is to think about your entire amount that you want to invest in Lego, okay? If it's $10,000 or $20,000 or whatever that may be, and then slice up that amount, that budget essentially, into however many SKUs that you want to buy. If you want to buy 30 different Lego sets next year, then you're going to divide that up by 30, that total amount that you want to invest into your business by 30, and you're going to come to some amount that you want to spend on each set. Now, the amount that you're going to spend on each one is not going to be equal, because some of them should have more of a chunk of the pie if you are more confident in them. The sets that you're most excited about should have the bigger investment than the ones that you're less excited about. So you essentially take the entire budget for your Lego investing investments, and then you divide it up over the number of SKUs that you want to go after on your hit list. That is the optimum way to do it. Now, I know that it doesn't always work out like that, and not everybody can just sit down at the start of the year, draw out a list of all of the sets that they want to get next year, and then kind of divide it up so cleanly like that. It just doesn't always work out that way, and sometimes a great deal comes up, a great opportunity comes up that we didn't expect. That, of course, that all happens. It happens to me as well. It happens to everybody. But if we can at least keep in the back of our mind that a good way to do this would be to take our budget and kind of divide it up on the number of SKUs that we want to invest in, it really would help us to keep a balanced approach, a disciplined approach to our buying strategy. So overall, those are my thoughts on diversification, deep versus wide, when it comes to how many units and different SKUs we should be buying as Lego investments. I hope that this helps somebody out there. And if you want to see more videos about the specifics of building a Lego investing business, please hit that like button down below to let me know, and I'll be sure to make more like this one. And also, I want to let you know that we have a completely free Facebook group all about Lego investing. So if you're new to this idea about Lego investing, make sure to check out the Facebook group link down below. It's completely free to join, and there's a lot of people in there that are sharing tips and strategies and deals and different things on how to build an income with Lego investing. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I'm Shane from brickbucks.net, and I will see you in the next one.